Hello, algebra students, and here is the video I promised you where I'd go over a couple of the problems from the homework. I'm not actually doing ones from the homework, but I'm doing ones very much like the homework to explore what will happen. Vinny always wanted to know if the x-axis would always be the asymptote, and my answer to him was no, and we'll see on a couple of these where it won't be. Well, first of all, let's start off with graphing this y equals negative 5 to the power x. Now, when you're deciding what to put in your input-output table, I like to consider what's going to happen with 5 to the x. Well, if x is 0, I'm going to get 1. If x is 1, I'm going to get 5. X is 2, I'm going to get 25. So I'm probably not going to go 2 because it's not going to show up. That's kind of like the one Maddie talked about today in class where she wanted to use 2, but it was kind of an iffy one. So I'm not going to go to 2, so I'm going to go with 1. I'm going to go 0, and then I can go with negative 1. Negative 2, negative 3, and then that's really small enough. I mean, I can keep going here, but just so I get a general idea what the graph is going to do. So if I put 5 to the first, I get 5, and then negative, so this will be negative 5. So 1, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, is right there. All right, if I put 0 in, I get 1, but then I make it negative, so that's negative 1. Okay, negative 1. If I put 5 to the negative first, I get 1/5, but then it's negative. So I get a negative 1/5. Okay, negative 1, 1/5. All right. 2 is going to be 25. Negative 2 would be 1 over 25. Then there's a negative out front, so it's negative 1 over 25. Oops, not over 12. Oh, where's my eraser? Negative 1/25. There we go. All right, which is get pretty darn close. Okay, and this will be negative 1 over 125. All right, now I'm not going to try to draw that anymore. I'll do the best I can. It's going to hug the x-axis. It's really hard to do this on the airliner. And then, now I'm going to do right there. All right. There is the red one. Now the asymptote will be the y-axis in this case. The asymptote is y equals 0. Okay, let's go on to the green one. It's going to look the same, only they're not going to be negatives. So I'm going to use the same numbers. I'll do 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And again, I don't need to go down to negative 4. I can. I mean, it's not hard. I can do it. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's a negative exponent there. That's going to change things, isn't it? Let's get rid of those. Okay. And again, when I put 0 in, I'm going to get 1. But when I put negatives in, they're going to be positive exponents. So I'm only going to go negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And I can put a 4 there if I want. All right. So if I put negative 1 in here, 5 to the negative of negative 1, well, that would be positive 1. 0 would get me 1. If I put 1 in, I get a negative 1, 1/5. Okay, 1/25. 1 over 125. 1 over 625. Yeah. All right, so negative 1 is up at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 is at 1. And then we start to approach the x-axis and get really close to it. Okay, so it's going to hug the x-axis. Never going to touch it. That distance will always be divided by 5 and get closer and closer to 0, but never quite get there. Okay, so if you want to call it a reflection of the red one, you can. I'm wondering if anybody can tell me the line that it's reflecting across. Well, let's see here. The line would be here. I'm not going to tell you the answer. You should be smart enough to figure this out. There's the line of reflection, I believe. No, actually it's not. That's not the line of reflection. It's not going to match perfectly. It's a double reflection. Never mind. Okay, so let's not worry about that right now. Okay, let's go on to the blue one. And the blue one, I've got a positive exponent, so I'm going to use a few negatives. -3, -2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to put 25 in there, and I'm going to get, I'm going to put 2 in there, get 25, so that'll be 24 when I take away 1. I'm going to get 4, I'm going to get negative 1, and I'm going to get negative 1 and 1/5. No, not negative 1 and 1/5. Negative 4/5, right? 5 to the, it's going to be 1/5 minus 1. Yeah, so negative 4/5. Okay. 2, I'm going to get negative 24. You know, I feel like I'm making a mistake on this one. Hold on a second. Okay, I found my mistake. It was with the 0. Yeah, I should get 1, and then 1 minus 1 would be 0. All right, so then when I put negative 1 here, I get 1/5. Minus would be 4/5, negative 4/5. Okay. Then negative 24 25ths. And then I'm going to get negative 124 over 125. Now you notice, what are these numbers getting closer to? Negative 1. Yeah, the numerator and the denominator are getting very close together. And so the fraction is getting closer and closer to negative 1. My asymptote for this blue one is going to be the line x equals negative 1. No, y equals negative 1. Y equals negative 1. It's going to be right there. And I'll leave it black. So what did I say? Y equals negative 1. That's my asymptote. Y equals negative 1. And when I graph it, 224 isn't going to fit. 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 0 is at 0. 80% of the way. Oops. 80% would be like, oh no, I had that right. Okay, going to be down here. And then almost 100% of the way, getting really close. And so you see, by subtracting 1, the whole graph shifted down 1. Yeah, I mean, if you'd like me to show you that on the calculator, hold on a second. It looks like it's coming up. You go y equals 5 to the x, zoom, 6. Okay, there's my graph. Okay, now if I do y equals 5 to the power x, and I take 1 away, oh, it's hard to tell what happened. Tell you what, let me take more than 1 away, and let's see if you can tell. Let me take 4 away. Excuse me. Oh, there you go. You can see that the two graphs will end up being 4 away from each other, right here and right here. If you do the math, the equations were 5 to the x and 5 to the x minus 4. Well, 5 to the 0 is 1. 5 to the 0 minus 4 is 1 minus 4, or negative 3. Well, 1 and negative 3 are 4 spots away from each other. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. It's not so easy to see on here. I thought it would be a better picture, but hopefully you're getting the understanding. All right. So this one here, this purple one, it's going to be just like this green one, except everything is going to be moved up 3. So let me get my purple out here. Okay. So if I take 5 and I add 3 to it, well, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I take 5 and add 3 to it, I get 8. Add 3, I'm going to get 4. 1/5 plus 3 is going to be 3 and 1/5. Then it's going to be 3 and 1/25. And then we're going to get 3 and 1/125. 125th. Okay, etc. You can see the whole number is 3, and the fraction is getting closer and closer to 0. So my asymptote must be occurring at 3. So let me see, y equals 3. 1, 2, 3, right here. And that's a little bit too long. Let me make that real thin. There we go. I like that. Okay. So, in the purple. So -1 is up here at 8. 0 is at 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is at 3 1/5. And then it starts to hug the x-axis, or the asymptote y equals 3. And again, it'll never cross. Never cross. Okay? If I could blow this up, I would start to see, there'd be the broken line, and then the graph would be getting closer. And then it might look like it's touching here, but then if I could blow that up, I'd see the broken mat, and then it would be like this. And then over here it would look like it was touching. I'd blow it up again. Boom, 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 boom. And then you'd see, no matter what, that distance would be, in this case, divided by 5. So it would never equal 0. You can divide by 5 infinitely. And so it would just keep going and follow the x-axis forever and ever. All right, hopefully that helps you with the video. I didn't put anything on there about the, problems 8 or 9 on side C, or problems 5 through 8 on side B, because I think you're smart enough to be able to answer those. Okay, think of the things we've done recently, and you should be able to. All right, remember, you don't have to do numbers 10 and 11 on side C. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.